Apple is about to charge you $200 more for the iPhone 18 Pro Max. And at the same time, they are actively negotiating to pay 20% less for the screen inside it. That is not a rumor. That is supply chain data from analysts with direct access to Apple's panel suppliers. And it tells you something important about this phone before a single review drops. There is also one display upgrade coming to the 18 Pro that Apple has been sitting on for 3 years. It is finally here, and it changes how the phone actually behaves every single day, not on a spec sheet. We will get to that. The iPhone 18 Pro Max lands this September, and the supply chain picture we have right now is interesting. Part upgrade story, part business story, and honestly, part cautionary tale. I have gone through the latest analyst reports, display technology breakdowns, and pricing data, so you do not have to. I also want to be clear up front. This is a pre-release breakdown based on verified supply chain reporting, not hands-on time, but the information here is the kind that most reviews will skip entirely once the phone is in their hands, and that is exactly why we are covering it now. Let's start with the number. Apple is pushing OLED suppliers, Samsung Display and LG Display, to cut panel prices by roughly 20%. The target price is around $66.50 per panel. Last year's iPhone 17 Pro Max panels cost significantly more. Now, here is where it gets genuinely interesting. The iPhone 18 Pro Max display is expected to be more complex to manufacture than its predecessor. Apple is moving to Samsung's M16 OLED material set, which improves luminous efficiency, lifespan, and color performance, better materials, more manufacturing complexity, lower price Apple pays. Meanwhile, the phone itself is going up $200. The iPhone 18 Pro is expected to start at $1,299. The Pro Max at $1,399. Apple's official reason is rising memory and storage costs, and that is probably true, but it is worth knowing that the screen, the thing you interact with literally thousands of times a day, costs Apple less to source this year, not more. This is not outrage. It is just context. Know what you are paying for. Okay, so Apple is sourcing a cheaper but legitimately more advanced panel. What does that mean for the person holding the phone? Two things, both real. The first is LTPO plus. LTPO has been in iPhones for a while. It is the technology behind always-on display and promotion, the variable refresh rate that makes scrolling feel smooth. LTPO plus takes it further. Conventional LTPO applies oxide materials to one type of transistor in the display. LTPO Plus applies it to both, giving the screen finer control over how much current drives each individual pixel. In plain language, the display gets smarter, smarter about when to dim, smarter about when to brighten, smarter about adjusting to what you are actually doing in the moment. For you, that translates to two real-world benefits: less screen flickering in low-light environments and better battery efficiency because the display burns less power doing the same job as before. If you have ever used your phone in a dark room and noticed that subtle, almost imperceptible flicker behind the screen brightness, LTPO Plus is specifically designed to address that. That is not a small upgrade wrapped in a technical name. That is a genuine quality of life change. The second display upgrade is one people have been asking for since 2022. The dynamic island is shrinking, around 35% smaller than the cutout on the iPhone 17 Pro. Apple introduced the dynamic island with the iPhone 14 Pro. And despite years of software features building around it, live activities, music controls, timers, navigation prompts, the physical cutout has never changed size. 3 years, same pill. iPhone 18 Pro finally moves it. And iOS 27 is already signaling this. Siri's redesigned interface in the current beta reflects a smaller pill shape. Apple does not tease display geometry. in software without having hardware to match. It is not a fully edge to edge display. That is still further away, but every millimeter of screen you reclaim is a millimeter that was yours to begin with. And on a device you look at thousands of times a day, that matters. Here's the part I find most interesting, and it has nothing to do with the display. iPhone 18 Pro might have the most favorable upgrade conditions Apple has seen in a long time. And it comes from three directions at once. First, the iPhone 17 Pro was a bigger hit than Apple anticipated, far bigger, which tells you something. The redesign, the battery improvements, the camera upgrades, people responded to that combination in a real way. iPhone 18 Pro is expected to continue improving in all three areas. So if you're sitting on an iPhone 15 Pro or older, the gap between your phone and the 18 Pro is going to feel significant. Second, iOS 27. There are over 2.5 billion active Apple devices in the world. A large portion of those iPhones will not support iOS 27's new AI features when they launch this fall. The new Siri is a genuine overhaul, not an incremental one. Apple's AI story has not been the most compelling until now. Most people who have used Apple Intelligence would agree with that, but iOS 27 is different in scope. And if the AI features land the way the early signals suggest, this is Apple's strongest software upgrade argument since Face ID that gives millions of iPhone owners a concrete reason to move. Third, the lineup is cleaner this year for the first time since 2019. Apple is launching just three iPhones this fall: iPhone 18, iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max. The Ultra is its own category. Foldable early adopter territory, different conversation entirely. Last year you had to choose between iPhone 17, iPhone Air, and iPhone 17 Pro, and they were all reasonably close in capability. Decision fatigue was real. This year the choice is simpler, and Apple is also launching an upgrade leasing program, roughly $30 per month, no upfront fees. That removes friction for a lot of people who have been sitting on older phones purely because of the upfront cost. So here is where I land. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to be a genuinely strong release. LTPO Plus is a real display upgrade, one that improves daily usability, not just benchmark numbers. The smaller dynamic island is overdue and welcome. The continuation of the design, battery, and camera trajectory means anyone on an older phone is looking at a meaningful jump. And iOS 27 has the potential to be the software moment that makes older iPhones feel dated almost immediately. But you are paying $1,399 for a device where Apple is simultaneously squeezing 20% out of the cost of the screen. That is not a scandal. It is how supply chains work. But it is information, and you deserve to have it before you hand over $1,399. Who should buy it? If you are on an iPhone 15 Pro or older, this upgrade is easy to justify. Who should wait? If you bought a 17 Pro last year, you honestly wait. The Delta is not there yet. One more thing, Apple's first foldable iPhone is launching alongside the 18 Pro this September, and depending on how that device is priced and positioned, it might completely redefine what Pro Max even means in Apple's lineup. I am watching that very closely. So, are you upgrading this year, or are you waiting to see what the foldable actually turns out to be? Because that answer might be more complicated than Apple wants it to be. Let me know in the comments.